Over the last 7 days, WWE have been taping the next fortnight of TV in front of no fans at the Performance Center, as Florida was locked down from Thursday night for 2 weeks. It's been a logistical nightmare, not just trying to record so much content in advance, but also restricting the amount of contact between wrestlers and crew. Stephanie McMahon told Variety yesterday that WWE is taking every precaution you can, citing various medical screenings everyone must undergo before entering the building. But there's actually one precaution WWE hasn't taken, and it would have arguably been the most effective: not putting on WrestleMania at all. According to PW Insider, Vince McMahon is the only person in WWE convinced that pushing ahead with WrestleMania instead of postponing their biggest show of the year is a good idea. An idea that hindsight is quickly proving wrong. Shortly following news that Roman Reigns had pulled himself off the WrestleMania card, where he was slated for one of the show's biggest matches, wrestling Goldberg for the Blue Universal title, a rumor emerged on Reddit that a number of other WWE stars had also cancelled. According to a post from Packers_18, when Roman refused to feature on the tapings, so did Goldberg, along with Kevin Owens, The Miz, John Morrison, The Usos, and Edge. The post then claimed WWE convinced Bill to work the show with more money, and they shot an angle with Braun Strowman to step in as Reigns' replacement, which would air on last night's SmackDown. That didn't happen though, with WWE instead treating SmackDown as if everything's fine, nothing to see here. Goldberg and Reigns was promoted as though it was still going ahead. Further discrediting the rumor, Dave Meltzer reported that WWE did film Edge vs Randy Orton on Wednesday, so the Edge part is false, and Kevin Owens has also reportedly recorded his WrestleMania match against Seth Rollins. But that isn't to say there isn't some truth in that original rumor, and it directly ties into what happened with Roman Reigns, because SmackDown Tag Team Champion The Miz has also been pulled from WrestleMania. Wrestling Observer Radio has revealed Reigns decided to pull himself off WrestleMania because The Miz turned up sick to the tapings, and Roman's real-life cousins, the Usos, were very unhappy about that. Reigns' 2 bouts with leukemia over his life, the most recent of which concluded last year, means his immune system is far more susceptible to the worst-case scenario of the disease. It's unclear when all this took place, as last night's episode of SmackDown, that was presumably shot last weekend, ended with Miz and Morrison setting up a WrestleMania 3-way match for their tag titles against the Usos and the New Day. The Wrestling Observer has revealed these plans have now been replaced, with one of the Usos facing Morrison in a ladder match for WrestleMania instead. Morrison and the Usos were also names the Reddit rumors said were pulled, so that part is incorrect too, although they did get Miz right. Thursday's Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that multiple people on the card were pulled from WrestleMania. So far, that list includes top stars like Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio, and The Miz, and now several other big names have also been sent home. Thanks for your support on Patreon, listening to Big Apple Takedown Dandy Spruce. PW Insider is reporting United States champion Andrade has also been pulled from WrestleMania. Oddly, not for something Steve Corino related for a change, with him actually suffering a rib injury on Monday's Raw in the same match. In the same match that seemingly saw Cedric Alexander briefly knocked out for the botched finish. Andrade was meant to team with Angel Garza against the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team titles in a match at WrestleMania, a match that was only announced on Monday, to face Mysterio before Rey entered self-isolation. Post-Wrestling has revealed barely used NXT star Austin Theory will replace Andrade as Garza's tag partner, which doesn't make any sense. And neither does the bizarre story of Bobby Lashley versus Aleister Black. Black versus Lashley for WrestleMania was also randomly announced on Monday's episode of Raw. Random because the two have never been involved together on TV, and it seems it's a match that seemingly could never take place anyway. Bobby was in South Africa earlier this month to promote WWE's now postponed tour there in late April. WWE aren't letting anyone who's recently travelled abroad or been in contact with anyone who's travelled abroad, so Lashley was presumably never able to have that match. PW Insider has also added Buddy Murphy to the list of people pulled from tapings. Murphy was originally scheduled for Monday's Raw, but was not cleared to appear and won't feature on Mania either. As if that wasn't enough, Wrestling Inc. then reported both Asuka and Cesaro had been pulled from WrestleMania. But Dave Meltzer has since noted both actually worked the tapings and have no health issues. Wrestling Inc. have published a retraction. But there is one man who will never seemingly get pulled: Vince McMahon. PW Insider has revealed McMahon was in attendance for the majority of the Mania tapings on Wednesday and Thursday, despite his 74 years of age, putting him in the most at-risk category of contracting the disease. 70-year-old Jerry Lawler, for comparison, was removed from Raw commentary this week as a precaution. But even with all those measures in place, taking temperatures and practicing self-isolation, the fact of the matter is The Miz still developed symptoms this week. Yes, he was immediately sent home, but as we now know, that's too late if he actually has the disease. He could have been unknowingly contagious for weeks beforehand, where he would have been in contact with numerous wrestlers and crew. Up until yesterday, I was in the mindset that WWE taping in advance was making the best of a bad situation. They were doing all they could to protect their performers and staff, while still giving us fans WrestleMania to take our minds off things. But with everything that's come out in the last few days, I believe history will not look back kindly on Vince McMahon's decision to carry on. Miz getting sick shows how risky pushing ahead with WrestleMania actually was. And all that risk for a show in front of no fans in the Performance Center with haphazard matches and last-minute replacements. All that risk for what will be a significantly diminished show. We can only hope that nothing more serious comes from this now increasingly apparent severe misjudgment. Do you think WWE should have postponed WrestleMania? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere. But it's all okay, because as we saw in last night's SmackDown, in WWE kayfabe, Steve Corino doesn't exist. The episode opened with an advert for WrestleMania, where WWE are still advertising Roman Reigns and The Miz, which isn't the first time WWE have falsely advertised matches. Sasha Banks and Bayley started the actual show, where WWE has actually updated the advertised card to reflect real life, promoting a fatal 5-way match for the women's title instead of the 6-pack challenge with a now self-quarantined Dana Brooke. Bayley complained about Paige making the match in the first place, but there are no authority figures, remember, before saying her and Sasha Banks are stronger than ever. Before a seemingly conflicted Banks could respond, here's all the SmackDown women standing in a ring. Drew Gulak beat Shinsuke Nakamura next, meaning Daniel Bryan gets to fight Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Or at least I think it does. I don't know what a WrestleMania even is anymore. This was a decent TV match, elevated by Zayn's very funny commentary. After lots of heel interference, Bryan gave them a taste of their own medicine to help Gulak roll Shinsuke up. Dolph Ziggler and Otis clashed backstage to set up their singles match for WrestleMania, if that happens either. It was an anticlimactic way to actually confirm the bout, considering everything that's come before. But then the plot thickened, as Ziggler and Sonya Deville were seen scheming backstage. And Mandy Rose reiterated that she is not some sort of prize to be fought over between Otis and Dolph. Women's revolution. And then, oh my god, they killed Elias. Standing in the crow's nest, Elias sang a song mocking King Corbin, so Corbin pushed him off the balcony. Some fancy visual editing made it look like Elias slammed straight into the concrete, but the sound effect they used was comically bad. Also, running an angle where someone is then shipped to a local medical facility is bad taste right now. Asuka versus Alexa Bliss happened next, but I can't tell you what happened, as Nikki Cross was too busy stealing the show screaming at Michael Cole on commentary. Bliss hit the DDT out of nowhere to win clean over Asuka. That hurts my heart. SmackDown then played the archive match of Reigns versus Triple H from WrestleMania 32. You know, the one where everyone hated Roman the most. Good choice, WWE. Way to build that match where Roman is meant to be cheered going against Goldberg. Except it's not, because there's no fans there. and Roman isn't even on the show anymore. Triple H then hyped that match that's not happening by putting over Roman and Goldberg in a promo. The best thing on SmackDown, as usual, was Bray Wyatt's latest Firefly Funhouse, where he spoke to his own disembodied head lantern, blended Rambling Rabbit into a protein shake, and then, as WrestleTalk's Louis Danger Dangor reported exclusively on Wednesday, challenged John Cena to a Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania. The Fiend gimmick is incredible. Click the eye above my head now to watch our new Wrestling Explained series for how Bray Wyatt came up with the character. And the main event saw the Usos versus the New Day in a very good match, with Miz and Morrison interfering from commentary, meaning a triple threat ladder match was booked for the title at Mania between the three teams, which also isn't happening anymore. Vote for your rating of the show by clicking the eye above my head. This episode was pretty good, and it built nicely to WrestleMania with limited resources and crew, and the Firefly Funhouse was fantastic. It's just a shame a lot of those stories are undermined by them no longer happening. This week's SmackDown is a low smacktastic. Watch the origins and creation of The Fiend explained with our new series on Parts Unknown. Click the video on the right now. And what are Adam Blompier's 10 biggest takeaways from the Chris Benoit documentary that came out this week? Click the video below that for more. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.